and welcome to Just Talk. I'm Kimberly Alim-Burgos, your host. On this segment of Just Talk, we are going to cover childhood suicide prevention, bereavement, mental health, bullying, and as parents, how to cope, what to listen to kids.
A little bit of insight on bullying and how it relates to grief. Bullying is, we know, that's nothing new, right? Bullying has been around, since kids play together, right? That's just a part of, growing up. But it's gotten so much worse nowadays. And I like to believe that the biggest portion of that is because we have the World Wide Web, social media. What once was something that happened,
want to test that
at
what I
school,
have to share
playground,
will
it was
share.
minimized to maybe the bathroom and stuff like that, or in the neighborhood. Now it can be viral in seconds. And so everybody has a phone. Even my 5-year-old has a phone. I know. Why does she have a phone? It's because I don't want her to have my phone when she's getting on YouTube. Kids, that's the truth, okay? That's just what it is. And plus, I got a discount by having 4 lines. So that's the full range of how that happened. Needless to say, she still has a phone and she knows how to work that thing. Like, she knows how to do it better than I do. So the world, they have grown with the age of technology. So what used to be based off of word of mouth, and although that traveled quickly, it's quadrupled, gazillionized, if that's even a word now. It's to a place where it happens so quickly, and it can truly feel as if the world is against you, or those embarrassing moments, or just the opportunity for ridicule has just grown just with technology alone. So I did a little research and I pulled up there was a study that was done. Let's see with it. I'm gonna pull it up so I can see. I put slides together as well, but I can just read through them. But there was this research that they did based on cyberbullying and what were the 3 most dangerous aspects of bullying today. And those 3 things were, first one they came up with was, not everybody is a winner. And I know that sounds like, what? But the way they break it down, it makes a lot of sense. The second one, of course, is the power of social media. And that's for me, that's the number one. And then lastly, they said was the continued lack of education for children on how to deal with painful events. And basically what they're saying is, I'll go in order. When they talk about being the winner, it's a developmental concept that children actually come to very early in age, usually around by the age of 3. They understand that's a good job and praise, right? That's utilized. We see it in daycares, we see it in the school system, we use it at home to give them the affirmation and the praise for doing well. But then
but I see
the
that
study was showing that this can be problematic.
screen sharing is
if
disabled.
all they
I
ever
know
receive is
another
praise.
team member also
if they're
has
always the winner, if they're always
a PowerPoint
getting,
prepared.
even for
So
the
if it's
things it's
possible to
not
get
so
that screen
bad.
sharing,
The study
that would
showed
be
that it was
awesome.
75% of human beings' belief system is established by the age of 3, and another 20% is set in place by 15. So when you have a child who's receiving this as early for that, in that range from 3 to 15, and all they ever known is praise, it's easy for the bullying and for taunting words to be very deep-seated into it, the effect to really take a different turn, a more darker turn, because this is something that they're just not simply used to. They're not simply used to that emotional experience of that kind of pain. And so with children, it's important because during their developmental stages, these are the things that they are learning, that to identify themselves as a person, how to join into society, how to be an added resource to society. It's a whole lot of things that's going on. And then once you get to middle school, you're going to add puberty on top of all of that. So it's like so many things that are going on. So this study I thought was very interesting to hear that winner concept, that winner mindset. And so that was one of the things that they noticed. Of course, social media, like I said, things move very quickly. And like I said, it's always been there, but it was usually isolated to certain places. So children, you would see that they would start to avoid certain places. At school, they didn't want to go to recess. They would elect to go to the library, things like that. But now you just can't avoid it. And social media, it's everywhere. And bullying has just gained a wider range in their audience, and it has become more brutal, even to the point where they have these challenges now, like TikTok challenges and all this. It has really grown to a place that is just mind-boggling. The third one is children lack the tools for how to deal with those painful events. So in other words, language is the biggest thing. When you talk to children, as parents, most of us do, they come home, how was your day? Fine. I asked what did you learn? Nothing. I said, the whole day you didn't learn anything? It was always a response, it was quick and easy and just didn't want to deal with it. But especially when there was something that was going on, we've noticed that their facial expression is different, or there's some super reluctance in going to school or riding the bus or things like that. When we ask, what's wrong? We get the same response, nothing. And so this study showed that the reason for this response in most children, they frequently found that they just had a hard time to articulate how they're feeling. You know, they couldn't come up with an actual intellectual or logical reason for that they're feeling bad, because they didn't understand why they're getting picked on. What makes me different? Why am I the brunt of the joke? And they didn't have a way or the tools to be able to process this emotion. And so they tend to keep it to themselves. And then they'll turn, inward sometimes to video games or being alone and things of that nature. And as they grow back to that developmental stage, they're learning these are things that get ingrained in them. And sometimes it can get so heavy that they slip into places of deep grief and depression and other places. And if it's not checked, or it can go other directions sometimes to being able to self-soothe through drugs and alcohol or promiscuity, or just sometimes just really erratic and dangerous behavior, because they get to a place where they haven't learned how to appropriately deal with painful events because they couldn't find the language. So one of the things that they coming out of the study was creating a safe place for them to share their feelings is the most ideal way to be able to kind of harness this phenomenon that happens in conjunction with development, where they'll be able to speak to what they're feeling in a way that they feel safe, even if it's not super intellectual or if it's not up to par with what they think they should, or they can just say, Mom, do you think I'm ugly? Am I ugly? Something as simple as hard to say, but they've created a safe place that if that's how they're feeling, they'll be able to do that. So I just thought that was a really great article to identify those main key points based off of that study. And I did have a video, so I will put it in the chat, the YouTube, and it kind of is a news report of
a larger issue over the last several years, with a lot of students becoming more vocal about what's taking place in their schools.
News 19's Michael Fuller sat down with a child psychiatrist to learn more about the signs that parents have got to be looking for when their kids come home.
It needs to be handled, and the child needs to know that it's going to be handled.
Dr. Robin Welsh, Director of Child Development and Behavioral Health at Palmetto Health USC, has spent a part of her life's work in helping people to understand the seriousness of bullying.
Bullying affects self-esteem. It can cause anxiety. It can cause depression.
But detecting signs of bullying isn't always easy. So what exactly should parents look for if their child is being bullied, or if their child may be the bullier?
children who potentially are being bullied to see if there are any changes in their behavior, changes in their emotional status. Are they more tearful and upset? How are they sleeping and eating? If they're asking for money on a regular basis but are vague or not really clear about what they're spending it on, those would be signs that a parent would look for in a child who's being physically or verbally bullied. A child in an environment where people bully each other, where older siblings are bullying that child, where families are aggressive with each other, those kinds of things can kind of help a bully learn bullying behavior.
Dr. Welsh acknowledges that things have changed drastically over the years, with bullying becoming a 24/7 job.
A phone at night unsupervised can be just as dangerous. So having cell phones charged down in the family area instead of being up in the child's bedroom at night, having the child use the family computer instead of a private computer up in their room, friending your child on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, those types of things, so that parents can keep an eye on what they're doing and where they're going and what people are saying to them.
But for Dr. Welsh, the most important thing to be aware of in situations like these,
keeping open lines of communication between the child and the parent is key, and reminding children that we want to hear about it, it's okay, you're not going to be embarrassed in any way, but we're going to take care of you.
reporting in Columbia, I'm Michael Fuller.
Well, there are several schools in the Midlands area that are creating programs to provide an open line of communication for the students being bullied in their community.